Namaste, everyone. This is going to be Kundalini Yoga for emotional release, and this is inspired by a individual who emailed me on earthangelrosa@gmail.com, and she asked about emotional release, and I have created a video particularly for that discussion, and you can find that on Erase Star. And the title, I haven't named it yet, but it will be along the line of emotional release, okay? And I also want to share a book, right? A book that can help with those of you who desire emotional power, meaning a tool on how to better navigate the emotional realm, right? Because we know the emotional realm is actually one of the most challenging realms to navigate through, right? It's actually very, very challenging. And I discuss about this in the twin flame theory, about the depth of emotions actually gives you a lot of spiritual impact, a lot of spiritual power that can be used towards manifestation. But really, we talk about these ascended beings are really masters of emotions, right? Because when you master emotions, your intellect and your intuition, it happens, right? But when we have a lot of emotional immaturity, the intellect and the intuition gets very obscured by the swamp of emotions that can really sort of kind of travel into our intellect and our thought form, and create again, this kind of, it can make it dense, right? The mineral is in water and it makes you very dense, right? If the minerals in the, if the water is not moving, it gets very swampy, it gets very dense. So if you have a lot of like emotional weight or a lot of dense emotions, it makes your intellect and your intuition a lot denser than if you have like a sense of mastery of your emotions. It actually elevates your intellect and your intuition. So the heart actually has a stronger impact on the whole chakra system, the glandular system, than the mind. We know that the mind sends signals to the bodies, but we also know the magnetic field of the heart is actually sending more signals to the brain, right? And the magnetic field of the heart is quite a phenomenal and mysterious life force. But I do believe the magnetic field of the heart represents consciousness, the consciousness, and that's feelings. Feelings is consciousness. Thoughts are intellect, right? And we think of consciousness, right? The speed of consciousness, right? Your feelings, like, we receive telepathy not through the head, it goes into the heart, and then it goes into the intellect. So when we talk about these beings like Pleiadians and these higher dimensional beings, how they are intellectually more advanced than us, really it's not about they have these bigger heads and these bigger brains. It's more about that they have a stronger magnetic field, and the magnetic field of, you can say, the magnetic field, it really expands through the heart, right? And the heart is your consciousness. So people who have a more magnetic heart, right, they have a more magnetic heart, tend to have more of a bigger aura to them, right? People have a big heart, have a big aura, just naturally. And when you have a bigger aura, you tend to have the consciousness, meaning you tend to have more of a creative feeling, right? There's more of this intuitive feeling, right? You're more sensitive in your feeling, meaning you tend to be more connected to subtle energies, right? Because the plant realm and the animal realm, and it's this, and that's all psychic abilities. So really, consciousness is really about the frequency of the heart. And when you have like an emotional disruption or emotional pain or emotional trauma, it really shrinks the heart, right? And when you shrink the heart long enough, it really can block out consciousness, which is your sensitivity, your sensor awareness to subtle energies that are everywhere around, right? That can have information, that can give you knowledge, right? Like the plants can give you, the animals can give you knowledge, right? They can literally, animals can give you knowledge on who they are and what they like and don't like. Plants as well can give you knowledge on what they like and what they don't like. But the reason we can't tap into that field of consciousness, like trees, right? The tree system has a very sophisticated consciousness, like the heart, is because we're very we have in the emotional immaturity, we're very dense emotionally. So it's very difficult to navigate through the swamp of emotion. It's like trying to swim through a swamp. It's just very heavy, like there's just clumps everywhere, right? So a part of having, you could elevating your intuition, elevating your intellect, like, you know, if you were like a Palladian, is really working a lot on the heart frequency and really working a lot on the emotional body, because the emotional body, again, has one of the strongest forces on this planet, forces and just the whole, really on any planet when it comes to these, you know, intellectual beings. So when we look at like Pisces, like the water sign, like Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, these signs have a lot of power of manifestation, because this manifestation is unique. Because if these signs were to have an emotional mastery, they actually can be very, very powerful in the way that they have an ability to really transmute emotions, and in doing so they can actually bring about a very deep intuitive they can bring a very deep, impactful and deep intuition, right? So Scorpio is like, it's like the being able to handle those deep emotions, heavy emotions, and transmute that. Pisces is about purifying the emotions. Cancer is about looking into the unconscious emotions and nurturing the tears, the wounds, the scars back to health, right? And all of that, when you do that, or you get very good at that, you actually become very, very gifted at manifestation, because manifestation really is about your ability to respond to life appropriately. And a lot of times we respond to life through emotional reactions, emotional commotions. So part of the, you know, the opportunity is learning how to respond to life more in a better articulation, a better expression, more appropriately, right? And that's all about having an emotional maturity or mastery, because your intellect and your intuition is going to come in, and it may not be what you want, may not be what you like. It's going to be uncomfortable in many ways, and a part of your emotional response makes all the difference. If you respond to the ego or to the soul in any way that emotionally drains you, or that you create these emotional sort of immaturity, like this weakness, like you feel very weakened by the ego or weakened by the soul, meaning you don't know how to express or articulate yourself appropriately, or you have a lot of fear, or you're very defensive in whatever way, it actually can really, it can take away, it can really create a blockage in the intellect and the intuition when you don't know how to express or articulate your feelings, due to like emotional weakness, or which we all have, right? So part of these signs, Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio, is that their sort of destiny, right, that they all have in common, their sort of north node, right, they all have in common, is that they're really very much meant to work on emotional mastery, and use that emotional mastery to actually level up their intellect and their intuition, so that they can have a more clear and direct intellect and intuition that they can respond to emotionally with a more of a spiritually more of a spiritually wise response, because again, we gain spiritual wisdom through emotional maturity. So I just wanted to share that, and this is the book that I've been reading, right? It's called the Sophia Code, and it's by Kaya Ra. You can order this book probably on Amazon, the Sophia Code, and it looks like this, right? And this is what I'm reading, and this is really good for women especially, or men, but it really gives you it's really about unlocking the mind and just reading it. There's like reading meditations, And there's mantras as well, and it tells you the stories of a lot of the ascended being when it comes to the female, the femme consciousness, and like Kuan Yin and Green Terror and Lakshmi and Mother Mary Magdalene. So it really talks about these revolutionary, you can say, females during periods of enlightenment and during periods of great darkness, and how these individuals were able to find their tool and find their path out of suffering and into their liberation. And that's the Sophia code. It's like it's like the code, right? Like to unlocking your liberation, or unlocking your empowerment, or unlocking your Kundalini energy. So this is a really empowering book. It's actually very activational. It's designed to really activate the pineal gland especially, and it's designed to really activate the heart frequency. So every time I read this, I can feel my heart frequency is actually amplifying at least 16 times more than before I read this book. I can feel it. My heart frequency is 16 times more amplified than before I read this book. So that's just a good sort of kind of helpful advice for those of you who desire to learn more about your emotional mastery. So we're going to tune in. So rub your hands together, press them into the chest. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale to chant Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Inhale. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Inhale for protection mantra. Adgadename, Jagadgadename, Sadgadename, Siddhi Gurudevaname. Adgadename, Jagadgadename, Sadgadename, Siddhi Gurudevaname. Adgadename, Jagadgadename, Sadgadename, Siddhi Gurudevaname. Inhale. Exhale. Now just come into cat-cow so we can really loosen up the spine, which is just 3 minutes of cat-cow a day actually does wonders for the emotional release to really help you balance out your emotions. So inhale, stick the butt out, open the throat. Make sure that the elbows are tucked in. The belly's kind of pressing to the ground, the butt's lifting to the sky. Then inhale, really squeeze the pelvic forward and up like you're doing a crunch. Now, flip the wrists if you can. If you cannot, that's okay. I like to lift the wrist up and down to kind of loosen up the wrists. And this really, the flipping of the wrist really does open up the collarbone and creates a lymphatic flush. And then cat-cow in this posture. And then the last thing is you're going to, what I call a third hand, which is you're interlace the fingers and place them down, and then cat-cow. Keep going. Inhale, exhale, round the back, and then come into child's pose. Rest your forehead on the ground, hands in prayer above you. Okay, inhale, exhale, come up onto your knees, and we're going to do a little set to really move the energy, the chi. Okay, so place your hands in kind of like you're grabbing hands, and just twist left to right. Inhale to the left, exhale to the right through the nose. Inhale forward, exhale, place your hands on the shoulders, twist left to right.
Inhale, straight forward. Exhale, place the hands back behind the neck. Press the skull up and twist left to the right. Inhale to the left, exhale to the right. And really lift up from the armpits. Inhale. Exhale. Now interlace your finger, your Jupiter finger, like this above your head, and twist left to right as fast as you can. Inhale to the left, exhale to the right. And really lift up from the armpits. Inhale. Exhale. Bring your hands down. Open up the thighs. Flip the wrists. Opening up the legs. Ooh, you can feel that in the thighs. Sitting in rock pose is actually very healing for the deposits of the mineral in the thighs. So just open up the legs, flip the wrists, kind of right here beside the, kind of right here in front of the hip, right? Just out a little bit, and then just, it's like a flexing the tailbone. So I'm kind of sticking the butt out, and then I'm kind of pulling the pelvis forward and up. And just long, deep breathing. And really open up the throat, right? Really open up the throat by lifting the chin slightly and kind of rolling the shoulders back. It's almost like you're doing a little twerk. Breathing even deeper for the last 10 seconds. Inhale, exhale. Now you're going to come into we're going to come into a Sphinx pose. So we're going to stick our butt out, way out. We're going to open up the throat. Having our hands out like a great Sphinx. You can have the toes touching, really sticking the butt out. And then really opening up the throat. Really feeling that arch in the spine. And just hold this posture. Really focus on opening up the throat and opening up the chest. See, the neck is stretching. And just long, deep breathing through the nose. And just close your eyes and just relax in this posture. Just really stick the butt out and reach the chin up. Now we're going to focus on the pumping of the navel. So belly button to spine while you long, deep breathe through the nose. So it's like a pumping of the navel. And no pumping if you're in your first 3 days of your cycle or you are pregnant. Just long, deep breathing. But otherwise, just pump the navel. So it's pumping belly button to spine, activating that navel point while you breathe long and deep through the nose. Make sure you're breathing long and deep through the nose. And if this posture hurts, that's a-okay. It's really strengthening, particularly the thyroid. Breathe even deeper through the nose. Inhale, exhale. Now just round the back. And then just come all the way flat on your back into bow pose. So grabbing the ankle and just rocking and rolling. Kind of like you're balancing on the navel. So just grabbing the feet, rocking and rolling on the navel point. Breathing long and deep through the nose. Opening the heart. You can see my struggle in this box that I'm in. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, relax. Okay, come up. We're going to come into downward facing dog.
Bend the knees. Stick the butt out. Okay, come onto your back. We're going to come into bridge pose. So you can come all the way up like this. Right, in bridge pose. And just hold. Or you can come all the way up into the full bridge pose. And just open up the thyroid. And then just rotate around. Really focus on the opening of the pelvis. Okay, you can come down, take a moment to feel. It's challenging, but worthwhile. And then you can come on up, back again. You can hold this posture, come all the way into the full back bend. And just breathe long and deep. Okay, come down. Last time, we're going to relax. Take a moment to feel the release. Last time, come back up. Come into full back bend if you can. And then just rotate the spine. Really open up the throat. Almost like you're putting your head towards your ass. And then come down. Bring your knees to your head. And then breath of fire. Even inhale, exhale through the nose.
Inhale. Exhale. Rock and roll in the spine all the way to come seated. And just feel the adjustment that you've made. Just feel like the thyroid. What we did just now was really, really healing for the thyroid, right? If it's challenging, it just means that you're strengthening the thyroid. And again, the thyroid has to do with your ability to respond to emotions. So individuals who tend to have a tight neck, you can discover that they tend to have a lot of more emotional commotions, who have a very tight neck. Those who have more mobility, strength in the thyroid tend to have more of an appropriate response to emotions. And when I mean appropriate, means you're responsible, right, for self and other. You're taking responsibility for your emotions, and as well as for the emotions that you are relaying into the relationship. So now we're going to come into camel pose, and we're almost finished. These kind of postures coming up are a little challenging but worthwhile. So you can come just like this, grabbing the lower back, and just kind of come back. Just long deep breathing through the nose and just kind of pressing the pelvic area forward. You can bring on the balls of the feet and just grab the heels like this. Or you can try to go all the way into the full extent where you have your foot flat on the ground and just going back. It's a lot easier after you've done the back bends. Like, for example, we did a forward bend with the downward facing dog, and then we did a back bend. It's actually a lot easier to do it after that. And what I like to do in my camel is I like to just rotate the hips, almost like I'm doing a little like rotation of the hips, right? I rotate to the left and to the right, right? Like I'm, like a sort of like a salsa dancer, right? And that really helps me to loosen up the pelvis and open the energy in the spine. You can go side to side, you can even go forward and back, you can even like kind of hump, right? Just do whatever you can to work with the sort of the pelvis area. So keep going. Okay, inhale, exhale. Come onto your knees and just rest for a moment. Feel what that sensation has done. Feel a lot more relaxed, more into in a parasympathetic dominance. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do 11 slow frogs. So in the frogs, we're going to come onto the balls of the feet. We're going to be, the heels are going to touch, the heels are going to be lifted. You're coming like a
first position ballerina, if you know what that means. Bring your fingertips to the ground, inhale, and then slowly come up, exhale. And really fold over. You're folding at the bend of the hips, sticking the butt way out. And really bring the head back. Really open up the thyroid when you inhale. Last one. And just fold over the legs while your feet are in first position. Bend the knees. Bring the armpits over the knees. And then grab your elbows. Literally your elbow, really your armpit and your knee are folded over each other. You're sticking your butt way, way up. Almost though you're on the balls of the feet, right? And there's a little like space under the heel. Like literally you're like lifting the butt up, like a string is lifting the butt up. And then you're kind of balancing on the balls of the feet. But you can gently put a little weight on the heels. And just fold the armpits over the knees and bend, bend, bend. Bend, bend, bend. And inhale long and deep through the nose. Just really feel like you're full. See the fold? My armpits, my knees fit like a ball in a mitt. You can see that I'm folded. The belly is nice and comfy over the thighs. And I'm folding at the hips, elongating the base of the spine and elongating the whole spine. You see the elongation of the lower spine. I'm going to tuck in the chin to create space in the back of the neck. And just drop, 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 drop. Even bend the knees, feel in the hips, feel in the spine, stick the butt up. Drop the hands down, feel the armpits opening. Now inhale through the nose and sigh out the mouth. You can even stick the tongue out. can come up if you need to. You only have 15 more seconds. Keep going. Inhale. Exhale. Slowly round up. So slow. Keeping the knees bent. Folding up with the hips first. Folding up with the hips first, then the torso. Roll the shoulders back, open the heart, and then lift the head up. Sigh it out. And then come seated and feel that adjustment. So the last posture we have in this Kriya, it's kind of hard to do in this box, is we're gonna come all the way back. I don't know if I can do that, but we'll try. So you're gonna put your feet over your head. You're gonna fit your knee into the armpit. Your feet are gonna be bent. And then you're gonna kind of clasp the hands like this, right? So I don't know if you can see me. I'll try to figure it out. Like this. You see me? It's just like, woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. See, clasp the hands, armpit and the knee are together, and just relax. You can. So you can see and just relax. And just see yourself like your little shell. Like you're just nice and safe inside your shell. And you're fitting yourself perfectly. And you can even cross your feet. You can cross your feet. And then you can recross the other way. And you can come to just feet beside each other. Just relax and kind of fall asleep. Feel the thighs resting over the belly, healing the belly. The knees fit into the armpit. The back of the neck is pressed on the ground, opening the back like you're a shell. You're a person inside a shell. And fall asleep, feeling nice and safe inside your shell.
Okay, inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. I'm just gonna come out of it and round on the spine, rock and roll in the spine, grabbing the ankles, and then come all the way up to seated. Feeling the adjustment that is created. Very healing. Very, very healing. Just kind of place your hands Gyan Mudra here on your knees and just feel the spine. Feel how much tightness and how loose the spine has become over this period. Just listen to the sound current, let it penetrate your inner ear, get into the subconscious. Tuck in the chin, chest open, shoulders rolled back. Sit like a chief. Waheguru, Waheguru, Waheguru. Chant. Waheguru, Waheguru, Waheguru. 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 Now inhale, exhale. Place your hands like here at the heart. Touch the Saturn finger together and just kind of place it here at the heart. Now focus your awareness on whatever comes up emotionally and just observe it, watch it, look at it, feel it, and respond to it with the mantra. See the emotion, feel it, observe it, watch it pass by, and respond to it through the mantra. Waheguru, Waheguru, Waheguru. 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 Now bring the fingers together like this. Waheguru, left hand facing out, right hand facing down. Waheguru. Waheguru, Waheguru, 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 Waheguru. Inhale, bring the hands out beside you in Gyan Mudra. Hold the breath. Inhale deeper through the nose. Pull the shoulders back. Open the heart. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Press the tongue on the roof of the mouth. Exhale. Inhale. Press the tongue on the roof of the mouth. Squeeze up and in. Squeeze rectum, sex organ, navel, belly button to spine. Squeeze up and in. Press. Exhale. Inhale. The deepest inhale. Sip more air through the nose. Heal the heart. Sip more air through the nose. Hold. Exhale. Bring the hands together. And just feel how that has healed the heart, help you to become a lot more emotionally balanced and a lot more emotionally solid when it comes to dealing with people, yourself, so that you can take it as an opportunity, a chance to see your emotional power, not your emotional dysfunction. This whole Kriya, this whole meditation is really to help you become a lot more emotionally secure within yourself so that you can respond more rhythmically to other people's emotional imperfections, right? So that you were not so in misappropriating everything and misunderstanding and even aggressive. And a lot of times when we are very dysfunctional in our conversations and in relationships, sort of imperfections and disharmony, is because we don't feel very healthy in the spine. Individuals who have this more of this backbend series in their daily practice tend to have more of a strength behind their ability to be a lot more emotionally balanced and stable in the way that they, interact and relay with people, instead of taking everything offensively, getting very charged negatively, and then kind of reacting very impulsively, very reactionally, and very, very commotionally, where they start to drain, and it's very draining. This gives you emotional power. So if you ever feel like you've been drained emotionally through people or conversations, or your emotional neuroses and other people, and that sort of swinging around pendulum kind of commotion, this is very, very restorative. It really is replenishing. So if you've ever felt emotionally drained, this set will really help you to replenish your emotional body and make you feel a lot more healthy. Like I said, the more healthy you are in the spine, the backbone, you just naturally tend to make more corrective emotional choices. Because there's something about the spine, when the spine is just really healthy and really happy, just naturally you are in the right sort of biochemistry to respond, right? Respond with a sense of ease and a sense of calmness, rather than when your spine is really unhealthy and really unhappy. You tend to have more of a biochemistry of being very uptight, very tight in the way that you most emotionally respond to other people. So just FYI, this gives you an actual biochemical sort of position of emotional stability in your relay with your mother, your father, your kids, your husband, your wife, or your friends, your coworkers, so that you can start to have more of this sort of emotional power to you, instead of draining your emotional power, taking everything seriously, misappropriating, misunderstanding, and being very drained by other people's emotional whatever mayhem that they're doing within themselves. You know how to really set your emotional boundaries, and you know how to really focus on your emotional power and know how to be more constructive, right? You're very constructive with your emotions, and you tend to be a lot more expressive, and you have a greater chance of articulating yourself in a way that comes across very impactful. Like I said, when you're emotionally powerful, you're more impactful with people. Like, people are drawn to you because you're super magnetic, because your emotions are very impactful. You have very deep emotions, but not just deep chaotic. You have a very deep emotions, but it's very grounding. So people around you, or they can sense how grounded you are. You're deeply emotional, but you're very grounded, and people are very soothed, and that's why they want to be around you, because they want to have that sort of feeling, a sensation of being very deep emotionally, but being very grounded, where you really feel very stable in your ability to express and articulate your feelings. Because a lot of people, they don't know how to express or articulate, and what they do is they regress and they deny. They regress, they deny, they regress, they deny, and all that does is create a backup. Like, people are constipated emotionally, like really backed up, and all that does is just create a buildup, and that creates a lot of tension, and it creates a lot of heaviness, and it creates a lot of swampy emotions. And that is not the best sort of biochemistry to be in when you have a husband or children and these kinds of things, because you're more inclined to make choices that are based off of emotional insecurity and emotional sort of mayhem, rather than emotional if that's a word. So this kind of kriya, this meditation can really help you be in that biochemistry just through the opening of the spine and just through even the mantra, so that again, when the things come up, which they will, imperfections, your husband, your wife is doing this thing that agitates you, and you can really have more, you can express, articulate your feelings in a more constructive, creative way that's actually very impactful, right? When you're grounded emotionally, it's like no matter what you say, you have this sort of impact, this sort of healing quality to you. So you could be talking to your kid, and you're really, you really want to get across to your kid. You don't need to scream at them, you don't need to holler. When you have that emotional depth and you have that sort of groundedness in your emotional body, that calmness that you get through the Backbend series, when you talk, it's like you don't need to scream, yell, holler, create all this mayhem, commotion. Just just your presence, right? And just your emotional attentiveness and your emotional ability to listen and to be attentive and to be available actually is a lot more impactful than when you're emotionally balanced and trying to scream and holler and get all these, try to get attention and get what you want. It's a lot more draining, and it creates a lot more agitation than having this sort of practice of having this deep emotion but being very grounded, very calm, and very soothed by yourself. Therefore, you tend to present more of emotional power in what you're saying, what you're doing, how you're responding and expressing, articulating yourself, which makes you feel a lot more constructive and makes you feel a lot more that what your relay you're having with your kid, your husband, your coworkers, it actually it's giving you more a rhythmic intelligence rather than like a mayhem of commotion that leads to draining and pain and all these kinds of inflicting each other with all the inflictions of the traumas and all of that leads to burnout, leads to disconnect, leads to separation, and leads to overall like death of relationships or just kind of unresolved issues. We call issues. So this really helps us to really move beyond the issues that we have, emotional issues we have from unresolved emotions with people, and really start to become more expressive and articulate ourselves in the moment, become more intelligent, intuitive, and see every moment of the relay we have with someone as an opportunity and chance for us to experience our emotional power and really rise to the occasion and make choices, constructive, appropriate choices in our emotions that are going to bring out the best in ourselves and the other, even if that is a moment of being down or sad or depressed or talking about things that maybe you don't want to but you must, in order to really create more of an intimacy with yourself and create more trustworthiness in your relationship with the other person. So I'm just going to leave you guys with this, and we'll tune out with one long Satnam. So inhale, exhale, inhale, Sat Nam, and just bow to yourself, and thank you for joining me in Satnam.